author and nutritionist Robert Ferguson. Please welcome Robert Ferguson.
All right, y'all, let's hear it for America's Fat Loss Coach, Robert
Ferguson. Hello, everybody. This is Roberto Lorenzo Ferguson. I'm coming to you live in studio. Actually, right at the Diet Free Life kitchen, if you know what I'm talking about. And I just got through making a really delicious fat-burning meal. Now, we're coming to you as an impromptu, and for some of you, you're catching the replay of this. No matter what, like, comment, let us know where you're from, because today is a special day. I have one of my very dear friends who's also a client, and we have many years of knowing each other. But most recently, she took the bull by the horns, and she put the Diet Free Life methodology to work. And through her journey, there's a lot to be learned, because some of you have 5, 10, 20 pounds you want to lose. Some of you have maybe 100, 150, 200 pounds to lose. Well, she lost 110 pounds, and she got off some medications that many people I know would like to get off medications. And some of you are headed to a place where you're about to go on medications. Well, nobody wants to do that. And so I am thankful that we're in a position where we can bring her to you. So we're gonna stop the music. And again, if you're here for the first time, again, I'm happy you're here. 2, if you have not been to our YouTube channel, please go visit. And once you get there, like, subscribe, hit the bell so that whenever we upload new videos, we go live, you'll be notified. And then you have the option to watch and or listen at your convenience. So without further delay, let's bring her on, Miss Linda in the house.
Hey, Robert, how's it going?
It is going. And thank you for getting off work and making time to actually have a conversation with me.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
Now, keep in mind, Linda, I mean, you're a very humble, reserved person. We're here to talk about you today.
Okay.
And to answer any questions that people have. So, don't hold back, because you've been there when you wanted to lose weight or get healthier. And if you saw someone like you who have gone through the journey, share with them what they would want to hear, to give them that spark to actually do something, if you know what I mean.
Yes, and I've been there, and I've been there, and I've been there again, and I've been there again. So this is my last time. I'm done.
Now, when you decided to actually do something about your nutrition and your fitness and your health, did you literally have that in mind? Did you say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to do this, and this is it. I'm never going to yo-yo and have to do this again?
Well, a lot of things happened. Like I said, I've done this in my 20s, my 30s, in my 40s, in my 50s, and now I'm in my 60s. And I know this is the last time. I did this for me instead of any kind of major life events that happened. I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I got you as a coach, and that's the difference.
All right. Well, I've always said, and I believe this in my heart of hearts, there is nothing more powerful than having a coach. It's the same as before I got into the world of weight loss, one of my mentors, because I had been in business already, but he reminded me, he says, do your research. And I was like, okay, what do you mean by do your research? He said, go and investigate all the top weight loss programs. And so at the time, Weight Watchers was really popular, right? And I went and did my work, my due diligence. I went there, listened to them, heard the sales pitch. Then I started digging deep, and I met this lady. Well, I didn't meet her actually, but I learned about this lady named Jean Nidetch. You know who that is?
Yes, I do. That's the woman that founded Weight Watchers.
Yes, the woman who founded Weight Watchers. And I bet she's flipped around her grave many times. But long story short, it was one of the big things was the accountability that was built into going in every week and stepping on that scale.
Yes.
That accountability is the same thing that happens when you have a coach.
Oh, definitely.
So that's what I got from it. But anyway, let's go and let's talk about your journey. So what is it like to be 249 pounds? Like, what did it feel like? You know
It
what I mean?
was
Like, yeah.
terrible. I'm only 5'1", so I was very short and very round. And my mobility was bad. There was a lot of things I couldn't do. Things hurt. Things started to hurt. I ended up with some bone spurs in my foot, which are not fun. My ankles were sore. My knees were sore. My shoulders, my hips, everything. And it's amazing because I feel like a completely different person. And as someone else has said, the clock has been turned back.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes, that's somebody else's line. I'm just stealing it.
But okay, now there's a lot of people, Linda, who are at a weight they don't like how they feel. They don't like how they look. They are taking certain medications that they really don't like taking, but their doctor has put them in a position where it's like, okay, I'll take the meds. But yet they're not doing anything, Linda. So as a person, like, and you were in that situation, what happened? Like, you know what I mean? Like what got in you to say, you know what? I'm going to do something.
Well, I've always followed you on Facebook, and I heard you say that you were having some discounted coaching programs available. That my friend Dan was working with you, and he was doing really good. And I was like, I should. And he goes, just email him. And that was the biggest piece of humble pie I ever ate. Let me tell you what. That was a hard call to make.
Okay, but let's stay there for a second. So why was that humble pie?
Because you've seen me lose 80 pounds, put it back on, lose 50 pounds, put it back on. And this yo-yo is tiring. I'm just done. And it was hard to say, I need some help. Even though we've known each other for 12 years, it was hard for me to ask for help because I always did it on my own. That doesn't work.
I get that. I do. And I believe there's quite a few people who would like to do something and they know that there's an opportunity here, but I think sometimes ego interferes of like coming across like a chump, if you will.
Yes.
Where I see strength in humility. And a lot of people don't. But regardless, you got to a place where you said, okay, and we can both thank Dan. You said, all right, I'm going to reach out. And I got your email. And I was really happy to get your email, Linda. I can tell you that right now.
Aww.
And I was like, let's go. And at that point, let me see if I remember. You tell me. You're 249 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking blood pressure medications, correct?
Correct.
Now, how long had you been taking blood pressure medication at that point?
More than 15 years.
Okay. And for 15 years, you were told that you would be on it for the rest of your life, right?
That is correct.
Okay. You're also taking statins for your cholesterol.
Correct.
And how long had you been taking statins?
Same thing, 15 plus years.
Okay. So even when you had lost weight in the past, like 80 pounds, you never got off your blood pressure medication?
No, actually, my doctor told me I might be able to get off my blood pressure medication, but I would never be off my statins.
Okay. And then I know you said for about 7 years you were taking some allergy meds.
Yeah, seasonal allergies just popped up in my 50s. And I was like, I never had any allergies at all, even as a kid. And so I was given medication for that. Couple different kinds.
Okay. And then you had migraines occasionally.
Oh, constantly. Well, yeah, I always had headaches. Okay. But yeah, yes. Some were debilitating, some were not.
Now, those of you who are listening in and watching, fast forward, Linda's off all that stuff.
Correct.
I mean, that is so powerful. I mean, it is so powerful. Like, you are the epitome of what can happen for so many people, Linda.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. And the kicker is, when I emailed you a couple of years ago, my goal was to lose weight. Never in a million years did I think I was going to get off these medications. Never. It didn't even dawn on me that was a possibility.
Well, you're off the meds.
Yes.
You're feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
Last, if you don't mind me saying out loud, since we're talking weight loss, you were 139 pounds.
Correct.
And you know, I don't want to throw Dan under the bus, right? But Dan, we love you, man. So I know he'll catch the replay if he doesn't catch it live.
Yeah, I got him back on board.
Okay. Because Dan, he sent me an email today, he scheduled a coach call for Saturday. But Dan was down about 50 pounds when he encouraged you to get going.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you just caught up with him like, whew.
It just all fell into place.
It did.
Mm-hmm.
It did. And I would say a lot of that has to do with maturity for some of us. And not that Dan is not mature, because he is extremely mature. He's over the top intelligent. He's one of the most creative people I've ever met. He's like, he's an amazing human being, to say the least. So I'm glad that we have Dan in our life.
Oh, I'm just so grateful for him.
Okay. So let's share with the people the journey. First, let's talk about the food, because many people, to include people that, you know, that know you, people that you work around, people who have watched you at work lose weight, they see you eating regular food. You're eating carbs, you're eating, I've seen you out to eat with, some food that most people would say you can't eat that and still lose all this weight.
Exactly.
Share with the people kind of like, I don't know, some examples of how, like, things you like to eat and you continue to eat as you've lost 110 pounds.
Well, I'm relatively a picky eater. I've never been a huge veggie person, but lately my taste have broadened. But I don't like anything spicy. I don't like onions. I don't like peppers. So I'm kind of got a narrow lane. But it's amazing that it's all regular food. It's stuff that's in my fridge. I don't have to buy any supplements. I don't have to do any special preparations. I just cook it and eat it. And I've learned how to do that, to put it in a way, put all the food together in the right portions and proportions in order to optimize everything.
Okay, so let's go protein. What are some proteins that you like to eat?
Chicken. I love chicken. I love a good steak. I like pork. I like ham. I like fish. I like salmon. I like sway. I like tilapia. I like, haddock, bass. Unfortunately, I've developed a seafood or a shellfish allergy. So all my shellfishes, I haven't tried that. Maybe that's corrected itself too. But pretty much, protein, I'm a meat and potatoes gal. So protein is pretty much an open book to me.
Okay.
There's not a lot I don't like.
All right. Now, as a picky eater, that was quite a bit of variety when it comes to protein.
Well, like I said, my lane's kind of narrow. I've got a broad protein lane, and I love fruit, and but it was always veggies. That was like, I would eat broccoli, I'd eat cauliflower, tomatoes, lettuce, cucumbers, celery. I wasn't experimenting with anything else. And now I eat zucchini all the time. I've learned to love mushrooms. It's just amazing. I just try different stuff all the time.
Okay. So see, I love working and coaching picky eaters, because the more picky you are, because you're going to pick the foods you want to eat. I'm just going to show you how to eat them to get the results that you want.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so a picky eater's they're the best client in the world.
Well, I have found that over the last couple of years, either I have learned to appreciate food more or food tastes better.
Oh, well, that's a good thing.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about, you've talked about some carbs, right? So there's a lot of people who are hearing us talk don't even realize that carbs include broccoli and tomatoes and mushrooms, right? But have you had any potatoes? Have you had any pasta? Is
I
that part of
love
your?
pasta, breads, potatoes, rice. Yes, I eat them maybe not daily, but several times a week,
Okay.
unless I have a specific goal in mind.
Okay.
So, like, I'm doing the 8-week fat loss challenge. So, next week I'll have bread, but I'm good with that.
Well, and I don't want to. I'm not here to beat up on anyone, but I do want people to understand that you don't have to deprive yourself and to lose weight and be healthy. Like so there's two things I want to bring up and get your feedback on. I was talking about this program online called Optavia.
I've heard of
And
it.
yeah, it's a weight loss program that's sold through network marketing, and people become coaches, and they encourage, and I know their heart is in the right place, and I know these people, they just don't know what they don't know. And so when I was talking about it, and I kind of said it was probably one of the worst diets anybody could ever go on, especially for any woman, specifically woman over the age of 40, it is doing so much damage that it's going to be irreversible. And they have no idea what they're doing. But when people are selling it through network marketing, the people making money, they're not going to change anything because they're making money. So this lady reached out to me who was doing this program. And it was interesting because she was like, so I can eat fruit. So I can have pasta. So she was just blown away because she had done this program for a while. She came on board. She did what you and I know, the Diet for Your Life methodology. Her first week, she loses 8 pounds.
Wow.
Now that's really good. Like, not everybody can lose 8 pounds, right?
Exactly.
In her first week. But what was so amazing is that she was eating regular food.
Yes.
So I don't know what I'm really asking, but I guess I want your comment on the fact that there are people who are doing damage to themselves with these crazy diets, and they don't know it. And then it's putting them in a position where they're going to lose a part of their health that they can't recover.
Yeah, it's amazing that they think they have to deprive themselves of whatever it is in order to succeed. And actually, the deprivation is going to make them fail, because there is no way, I'm sorry, anybody can avoid carbs for the rest of their life. I mean, fast carbs, by when I say carbs.
Right, like potatoes and pasta.
Bread, yes. Yeah. And I just never understood why people think they can lose weight that way, go back to eating the way they did, and stay with their weight loss. It doesn't work.
Well, you can, but you and I both know that you can restrict yourself big time and you will lose weight.
Yes.
Right. I mean, there used to be an alcohol diet, and it was real popular. Like, I think over a couple hundred years ago, actually, where men would just drink alcohol and not eat food, and they lost a ton of weight.
Wow.
Yeah. I always tell people that you could do a licorice diet. And I had someone, when I said it, they go, well, tell me about it. And I was like, yeah, I'm not endorsing it.
Didn't you know somebody that did something with Twinkies or?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Dr. Hobb, he did the Twinkie diet and lost a ton of weight because he had structure, right? And at that part, you could argue that he just wasn't eating too much. And once you have structure, then you're not eating too much. The key is, I still want to be able to eat. I want to have a steak. I want to have a ribeye. I want to enjoy my food and get to where I want to be. So now, those of you who are listening, if you have specific questions for Linda, if you're catching it live, then post it, because I'll ask Linda. I'm almost done with my key parts of this journey. Okay. So we got the fact that you're eating regular food. We know there's a learning curve, right? Yes. Because it's all about learning how to eat whatever food you're going to eat, but eat it in the right combinations and believe in it. And then, as I mentioned, there was this lady that I just worked with, and there's another lady that I'm working with right now, who, when I encourage her to eat fruit, she goes, so I can eat fruit? And I go, yeah. And she said, isn't that there's a lot of sugar in that. What would you share with her, since you eat fruit? for this client of mine who is like, I'm eating, and she's brand new. I just started working with her. I'm going to tell her to watch this. I'm going to go right to the minute of this, and I want her to hear your answer to how you would respond to someone after losing 110 pounds and getting off meds, following the methodology, and eating fruit. She's concerned about eating fruit. What does Linda tell her?
I eat fruit multiple times a day. And yes, fruit has some sugar in it. It's natural sugar. But sugar is not something to be afraid of. But fruit also has fiber. It has vitamins. It has so many good things for you. And it's delicious. And I'll tell you what, when I'm craving a cookie, if I go eat some strawberries, I'm in a much better place, and it took care of it.
Okay.
So the sugar is not a bad thing. Everybody's demonized sugar so bad. And it's, if you know what to do and know how to do it and know what to use, then it's not a bad thing.
See, this is so interesting right now. Okay, so this is how my mind is thinking and why I actually wanted to have a conversation with you. I interviewed one of my clients last couple weeks ago, Debbie.
Mhm.
She's down, I think, 90 pounds.
Amazing.
And I want to do this more often because a lot of the people on YouTube and TikTok, they come across credible, but rarely, if ever, do you hear from their clients. Right? They talk a big talk, but a lot of the guys in my space aren't having their clients come on, their real clients, and talk about it.
No.
Because everything that you have said so far, Linda, goes against what most of the experts say is possible. Most of the experts will say you can't eat fruit if you want to lose weight. You can't eat honey if you want to lose weight. You can't have pasta, blah, blah, blah. All the things that you have done to lose weight, they're saying, and these are New York Times bestsellers, that you're lying because they don't believe you can lose weight eating the way you've been eating.
I guess we proved them wrong.
Yeah, but okay, so this is funny. Okay, I have a client years ago, over 20 years ago. She lives in New York now.
Mm-hmm.
She had lost like 50 pounds. She was doing great. She went to some conference and she sat next to some guy and she said, yeah, I lost 50 pounds and I'm doing this diet-free life thing, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, if you really want to lose weight, you gotta cut out the carbs. You gotta cut out this. You gotta cut out that. Okay, now keep it. You heard what I said. She lost 50 pounds.
Yes.
She came back and scheduled a session with me and had fell in love with this new way of how to lose weight. It just shows that some people can come across so confident and so believable that people will buy in it even when they've lived the opposite of what that person is saying.
Exactly.
That's called the Stockholm Syndrome.
Oh, okay.
That's real. Remember Patty Hearst back in the day?
Yes.
When she got kidnapped, they beat her. They locked her in the closet. They peed on her. 6 months later, she was part of the gang.
Exactly.
So people can actually be manipulated mentally and will take on a whole different way of thinking just based on the environment that they're in or how people are communicating it. And I believe this all comes down to the fact that most people are uninformed.
Yes.
And they will be influenced by people who are misinformed.
Yes.
Even though they've lived it. So how could if you're on the plane and some guy is sitting there talking to you, he's a physician. He goes, Linda, if you want to lose weight, you got to cut out the carbs.
I would not be the person he would want to make that statement to.
Well, I mean, I'm curious because there's people right now sitting back going, I'm having a hard time. I can't really lose it. I mean, I had 2 clients today that I let go of. And I say I let go of them. Actually, these 2 clients quit and they're in my discounted program, the one that you're in. And it's really sad because they're going to put off. And I know that the chances of them being successful is tiny. And I just know, but people give up on themselves so quick instead of staying the course. That it's a sad thing.
Yeah.
So how do you pull those people? Like Dan pulled you back in, but what's your words of wisdom that would pull someone back in?
Well, you have to do it for the right reason. You have to do it because you want to do it. It's like having an addict try to get clean for somebody else. It's not going to happen. Same. It's not the same thing, but it's the same, the same line of thinking. And it's mindset. I'm a huge believer in mindset. If your mind is not in the right place, if you're beating yourself up, if you're wobbling, if you're questioning things, it's not going to work. You have to be in your mind 100%. You have to get up and say, I'm going to do this. Today's going to be a good day. And if it's not, you get up, you brush yourself off, and you pick up with your next meal or snack. And it's anybody can do this. I think what scares some people off is it seems too easy.
Right.
Maybe.
Especially when you tell them that you're eating pasta and you're eating, potatoes, right?
I know. And I've lost a significant amount of weight. And some people ask me, how'd you lose the weight? It's amazing how many people don't say anything at all that I don't see for months at a time. It's like, I won't be offended, honest, ask. But, people ask me, how did you lose all the weight? I said, eating. And they just look at me. And they said, seriously? And I said, yeah. What'd you have to give up? Absolutely nothing. There's things I avoid, of course, but I avoid those for my health, not for my weight.
Yeah. See, well said, because it really comes down to education. People don't know about nutrition. When someone says, yeah, fruit has too much sugar, I'm like, you really don't know.
No.
Like you don't know any better. But a lot of the experts and all the most of the programs they've been introduced to, that's how those programs are designed. So they've been indoctrinated to believe fruit has too much sugar in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The same as an egg yolk is bad for you. Don't eat egg yolks. Same thing.
Exactly. Now
I had that conversation with my mother last night, and she went, "You're kidding me."
Oh, so you broke it down to her and brought her up to date?
Yeah, and I told her, I said, there's nothing wrong. Egg yolks are good for you. And she goes, that's the opposite of what they told us all those years ago. And I said, exactly. They were wrong.
Wow. And you know what's cool, Linda? If you go and Google 2015, cholesterol's not bad. Cholesterol doesn't cause cholesterol to go up, when you eat it. You can show her Wall Street Journal. It's there. Yes. And they didn't do a big press release and let the world know, but it's clear. But for over 50 years, your mom grew up believing that eating egg yolks and any kind of food that is high in cholesterol will cause your cholesterol to go up. And then cholesterol is demonized as a thing that can cause you to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
We believed it for years.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Cholesterol's bad. Put you on the meds.
Yeah. And I have a whole seminar I'm going to be doing on that. It's going to be awesome.
For that one. That's going to be good.
Now, Cheryl, one of my clients down under from Australia, she says, good day, Robert and Linda. Fabulous work, Linda. How did you deal with family events when family expect you to eat everything? Great question, Cheryl. That's all the way from Australia, Linda.
Well, hi, Cheryl. You just have to make up your mind that if someone's going to get offended because you don't eat something, you just say, it's hard to say because I didn't really have a lot of this because everybody knows what I'm doing. And I've explained this to my family, but it's okay to say, no, thank you, but I appreciate it. And you can go to a family function. You can make a fat burning meal anywhere with anything, pretty much. No matter where you're eating, if it's a buffet, if it's a family dinner, if it's Thanksgiving, that's an easy one. Thanksgiving, fat burning meals is simple. You just have to know your limitations. But, hopefully you have support from family that's going to understand what you're doing and understand that you're not eating what they're offering you because you don't like it or you're being mean. You're doing what's best for you. And you just have to explain it to them that way.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it is.
It is. But the more consistent you are, Cheryl, what happens is people just go, she doesn't eat that. Like they'll cop an attitude because you don't eat what they're eating. I'm telling you, man, there's 3 things that people are quick to debate and argue over: religion, politics, and diet or nutrition.
Yes.
Oh, people are ready to go off.
Yes.
All right, so I have a question for you, Linda, because this came up with one of these ladies that is one of my. I coached this lady for a while. She had a whole bunch going on in her life. Her husband wasn't the most healthy person, and he was going through a lot of medical challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew she was dealing with a lot. And so one day she just kind of just said, hey, I can't do the coaching thing. I'm out. And I get it.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. Then she reached out to me and she said, hey, I want to get back to coaching. Do you have any availability? And I said, I don't right now, but I think I will in about a week. So and that's for the discounted program.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I reached out to her and says, yeah, I have availability. She goes, okay, I want to do this. And then the day that she was going to start with me, I text her and says, hey, can you send me your updated lab work if you've had some done recently? And then she responded by saying, I'm not going to be able to do it. My husband doesn't want me to do it.
Oh.
Now, this happens a lot, way more than people realize. So all of you ladies that have husbands that are supporting you, you're way ahead of the game.
Oh, yes.
I'm telling you. So what's your thoughts on that when the man, the hubby, is like, no, I don't want you to do that?
Some of it goes back to, well, okay, first of all, I'm single. I'm widowed, so I can't. But I've been there and done that, so I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes, depending on the relationship and the man, and I'm not saying that this is always the case, but men like to be in such control sometimes of the relationship that if a woman starts to lose weight and feel better, all of a sudden their hold on her has diminished and they will do what they can to sabotage her to keep her the way she is. So she's going to stay at home and other people aren't going to look at her and she's not going to make other friends and she's going to continue to feel bad about herself. And I think that has a lot to do. I mean, that's one aspect.
No, you're right. There's quite a few ways of looking at that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because that's one of the things that will just really put a nail in your head is people that make you feel bad about yourself. You don't like the way you look. You know, you don't need someone to make you feel bad about what you do, how you do, what you're not doing. You know, everybody, knows what they're doing and they know how they feel about it. But it's sad when a partner or a friend or a family member can't support a person's choices, especially when they're doing something so good for themselves and something if they believe in it. And they may not want to come on board. Well, that's fine, but don't stand in their way. Move over and let them do what they want to do.
Yeah, it's one of those things easier said than done, right? Because
yes.
I've had on many occasions, some of my clients, female clients, their husband will really block them from being coached because they didn't like the amount of time, which is not a lot of time, that they're spending with me.
All 15 minutes a week?
Yeah. And I'm like, but that's the world that we live in. Like losing weight and being healthier is not easy. There's so many things in our environment that are contributing toward our success, as well as playing a role in blocking us from being successful.
Yes.
And I believe a lot of it begins with ourselves, ego. And then, sometimes you don't want to upset the person in your life, right? So imagine you're married and you say, hey, I'm going to get a coach. I really want to tackle this nutrition. And I just want you to, it's our money. Are you okay with that? What would you say, Linda, if your husband, let's say you were married, goes, nah, no, I don't want you spending money on that. You should do that you should be able to do that on your own.
And I would reply, I have tried it on my own and it's not working.
And he goes, nah, you don't. I mean, you want me to coach you?
And if I had the nerve, I'd ask them if they're qualified. But I probably wouldn't have the nerve to ask that.
Oh man, I'm telling you, this stuff is real.
It sounds like somebody sounds a little threatened by the other person. It sounds like the spouse or the partner may be a little threatened by you.
Yeah, something's going on. Hey, well, you know, Dan, our friend is he's here live. He made a comment earlier where he says, I hate when people give me unsolicited advice, even after I tell them I'm working with you or I'm working with a coach.
Oh, yes, I agree. I've dealt with that forever. I get the snide comments. I get the, oh, wait, she can't have that. She's not on a diet. And I said, I'm not on a diet. Well, why don't you have this? I said, because I choose not to. And these are people that work with me, that know me, that are friends of mine, that give me this crap. And I don't think it's done in a mean way. I just don't understand why they just can't accept what I'm doing and move.
See, from a psychological standpoint, I get why they do it. And a lot of times people are just defending themselves on the inside. And it's all about, they want to feel comfortable with who they are. Right. So if I came to you, Linda, and let's say we didn't know each other and you're eating healthy and I'm kind of just eating whatever and don't really care. And you decide that you're not going to eat that cake.
Yes.
Not that you can't have it, because you could. You just, maybe you're choosing to have the macaroni and cheese instead.
Exactly.
Right. So because I want to feel okay with eating the cake. So my goal is I'm going to make you feel bad because you're not doing what I'm doing. Because if you don't do what I'm doing, you're making me feel guilty.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to.
Yes.
It's like, and
with the whole cake thing, if somebody says, you want to have some cake, and I'll say, no, you know what? Maybe I'll have some in a little while. And then just a little while goes by. And like you said, they'll grab a piece, wrap it up and send it home with you. It's like, yeah. It's just,
No, it's an interesting
misery loves
dynamic.
company, right?
Yes. Now, Dan I don't know if he asked a question. He goes, one thing I've learned is to not say, oh, I can't eat that now. They don't understand. They think it's ridiculous. And they will put up a stink instead of just agreeing. Okay, no problem.
I know.
Yeah. People will get upset. Like I remember one time going to, my mom had gotten she has a timeshare. So they were all in Vegas. My whole family was in Vegas. And this was early 2000s. I mean, probably 2000 or 2001. My first book on weight loss hadn't come out yet. And my wife at the time, we both go there. And we're excited to spend time with my family. So it was time to eat breakfast. We got up and we had our own groceries and we went in the kitchen and started making some oatmeal. And everybody got quiet because we were eating something that they had no interest in. And I'm not pushing this on you. I'm not telling you to eat the way I eat. You do you and I'll do me. And that's why, like, you can see the comparison to politics, right? Because these days, if you think or vote for a certain party, people will unfriend you and not like you because you're voting differently than them.
Exactly.
There is no difference when it comes to nutrition. I see it all the time. Now, if you're an alcoholic and someone's pushing, hey, we're doing a toast here, cheers up, and you say, no, I'm cool, and you keep it nutrition, they go, oh, come on, man, you got to have a toast with us. Nah, I got some, I'm losing weight. Oh man, come on. And they're going to give you a hard time.
Just one drink isn't going to hurt.
But if you say, hey, man, I'm in recovery. Oh, sorry, man. So once you see what I mean, it's like, because they perceive that as a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's okay because it makes them, they keep their strength. But if you're choosing not to have it because you're choosing to eat and be healthier or lose weight, then in their mind, they're thinking, they're judging themselves because they're like, well, I should be doing what you're doing, but I'm not. So I don't want to feel bad. So I need you to jump in and have that drink.
Makes
Does that make
total
sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Okay. So now let's jump back. And if anyone has any questions for Linda, we have, like probably 18 minutes max. If anyone has any questions for Linda, bring it, because she's an open book. She is no holds barred. This lady has lost 110 pounds, improved many metabolic markers. And for a lot of you, you're on meds. If you stay on statins, if you continue to stay on meds for blood pressure, all of that leads to something worse.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if you know it, Linda, because your blood sugar levels have always been really good.
Mm-hmm.
But stats say that if you're taking blood pressure medication, 2 out of 3 people who are not diabetic that take blood pressure medication will be diabetic.
Wow.
It was just a matter of time. And what would happen, Linda, is one day your blood sugar levels they're being normal, whoop, they just go up. And then it's not like you can just change the way you're eating in one day and they go back down. Now they're up and you're in the battle.
Yes.
So you change things around. And based on your mom being around, you have the potential to be living a good amount of time.
Yeah. She's going to be 90 in February.
Okay, well,
yeah.
So it's good that you tackled this now. You know what I mean? Because the one thing I've heard from a lot of my older clients, and when I say older, like over, let's say 85, 90, 95, is quality of life is the most important.
Oh, yeah.
Because if they lose that and they can't do what they're doing, then what's the point?
Yes. Yes. Well, like I said, when I started with you, I wanted to lose weight. Now my concept is I'm improving my health, and my weight loss is an added bonus, because I haven't felt this good in 20, 25 years. Easy. Okay. I can do things like, I was kneeling down on the floor and I went to get up, and before I would have to like really push with my arms to get myself up because I just couldn't lift myself with my legs. Well, I put my hand on my knee and pushed off and pushed myself up a kneeling position on the floor with almost no assistance from my hands. I was doing a happy dance all around the house. It's amazing. It's the little things. Being able to cross my legs comfortably. I mean, it's the little things you take for granted. And it's just amazing how much better I feel.
Wow. See? And there's a lot of people who this resonates, right? Because they're in that same position. And then many people are probably thinking, okay, well, she did it, but she's probably, one of those people that can just really like see it through. No. So when someone says it's easy for you, because I know that if you work in a company where there's employees, a lot of people want to lose weight and aren't. People have watched you lose weight. You lose 110 pounds, okay? You lose 50 pounds. And it's clear that you dropped some weight, and it's clear that you weren't like walking around hangry. My question is always, why aren't more people asking how you did it, and can you give me a phone number or a website so I can do it too?
Yeah. And I'm, people I know, I'm trying to tell them. It's like they know what I do. They know how I've done it. They know about you. They know about Diet-Free Life. These are people that are close to me. And it's like, all it takes is a phone call. Talk to the man. He'll explain it to you. Oh, well, yeah, I'll get around to it one of these days. I've had so many people on the fence for months and months and months. It's like, pretty soon one of these days there isn't going to be another one of these days.
That's right. That's right. It's like I had this client who, well, she's not my client right now, but we were doing great on bringing her blood sugar down. I'm telling you, like amazing.
Mm.
And her husband, he's thin and can eat whatever he wants. So she felt that was a challenge.
Mhm.
And her daughter was constantly saying, well, I don't think you need a coach. You know, you can do this on your own. Well, long story short, she stopped working with me. I'm telling you, we were like, she was doing great. We were getting off metformin. We were doing great.
Wow.
5 months goes by. And in that 5 months, her husband he felt dizzy one day. So they went to the hospital, found out he's a full-blown type 2 diabetic.
Wow.
They put him on metformin. He can't handle it. So he's walking around, blah, 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 living life, no metformin, not checking his blood sugar. Like right now. She calls me from the hospital. Her blood sugar is over 400. They want her to take insulin. And she's like, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I got it. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh.
Are you kidding me? And they're both this da-da-da. And they're not 20 or 30 years old.
Yes.
So if we all get to live long enough,
Mm-hmm.
I know how that story ends.
Yes.
I have seen it because I got in this game pretty young. I have seen it and I'm going to keep seeing it.
Yes.
How do you get some? I mean, actually, neither one of us know the answer to that.
No, I can tell you from experience, I cannot do this by myself. I know it. I've done it and done it and done it. I lost 50 pounds. I lost 85 pounds. I lost probably another 50 pounds. And this is each decade. And something like I got divorced and I went on, I lost weight. I was in a relationship. I lost weight. I got divorced again. I lost weight. I became a widow. I lost weight. This time this is for me. I'm not doing it because I need to get over something drastic that happened in my life. I'm doing this for me.
Nice.
And I can't do it by myself. It takes a village.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's you, it's Diet Free Life, it's all the support and all the people in the group. Everybody is just there for each. It's a family. You can't do it without your family.
Amen.
Yes.
All right. Well, anyone who has a question, so this is we're closing out here soon.
Mm-hmm.
And so what specific questions do you have for Linda? Any questions?
And one other thing, it's, if someone says, well, I could just do this. It took me over 2 years to get here. And no, I did not always do good. There's weeks where I would lose a pound. There's weeks when I would gain a couple pounds. There was times when I was like, yeah, Robert, not a good time. Well, I'll talk to you in a week or so. I mean, I've taken little breaks just because mental health breaks or what have you. And then there's times I just dove into a half-gallon ice cream and came out at the other end and said, why did I do that? So I wasn't perfect. And and like I said, you just mess up. Well, no, mess up is not a good word. You get off track.
Mm-hmm.
You just pick yourself up, brush yourself off, start over. Or keep going. You don't start over. You just keep going and keep going. Because this is so doable.
See, I love what you just said because the most fit, most healthy people in the world aren't always on point. I don't know if you remember a book called Fit for Life.
Yes.
I think his name is Harvey Martin. I can't remember his name. But a woman who was his secretary ended up becoming my client.
Mm-hmm.
And his big thing was to separate protein from fruit and all that stuff, right? So I'm coaching this lady, and after a while, we become pretty close and pretty tight. And she was a psychologist, so I wish I could look her up. I don't think she was older, and that's been over 20 years ago. But she told me once that she just walked into his office without knocking on the door, and she caught him eating a hamburger. Oh man,
that's hilarious.
Yeah. He's eating a hamburger, going against exactly what he recommended. But
it was behind a closed door, so it was okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas, we recently had a retreat in Darlington, Wisconsin, and which I had a really good time. So Amy put on this retreat. She was the host. We had a good amount of coaches show up, some new coaches, and we had a really good time. And the festivities, I mean, we ate. Some people did not. I mean, every meal was not a fat burning meal, but we had a good time. But it was like, look, there's nothing to hide. I always tell people that if you ever get off track with your next meal or snack, you're back. And is having the knowledge, right? The education on how to eat, because again, most people don't know how to eat. A lot of people think broccoli is not a carb. There's many people who still think that eating cholesterol and an egg yolk causes your cholesterol to go up. There's a whole bunch of people that think fruit has too much sugar. And everything that you've done to not only lose 110 pounds, but to get off blood pressure medication and statins, which you were told you would be on for the rest of your life.
Yes.
I mean, and that takes me to my question for you, which I know the answer, but I want others to hear. How did you get off the meds? Like, do you remember how we did it?
Yes. I decided to stop my blood pressure medicine. I was monitoring my blood pressure, and I thought, well, I'm going to stop taking it for a couple of weeks. My doctor's appointment was coming up, and I was monitoring it every day, and I was making sure if it was jumping up, I would have, jumped back on. So I went to my appointment and told my doctor, I said, I have a confession. He goes, what? And I said, I haven't taken my blood pressure medicine in about 3 weeks. He goes, really? He goes, have you been monitoring? And I said, yeah, I'm right around 120/80 in that general area. And he goes, seriously? He goes, keep doing it. And that's when I asked him about the statins. I'm very fortunate because my doctor works with me. He's a really good guy. And I asked him, I said, what do you think about me stopping my statins? Because I had already come a long way, and he knew what I talked to him all the time about what we do. And he says, yeah, try it your way. So 3 months went by, and it was, it was not a huge improvement. It was we're going. And he goes, at first he said, I suggest going back on, but go on Crestor this time, or Crestor, I think it's called. And I asked him, I said, do you mind if we give this another 3 to 6 months? He goes, keep doing it your way. And now my recommendations from the doctor, continue doing what you're doing. He'll say, when he gives his recommendations for my labs, this is okay, this might be high, this is low. Keep doing what you're doing, diet and exercise, because he knows the work we're doing. So I just asked, and he said yes. Well, I took the initiative myself, and then I told him what I did. And he said, keep monitoring and keep doing it your way. And then we went to statins, and then the rest of it was, I ended up getting off about 5 different meds.
Yeah, I actually think I commend your doctor, because he gave you the chance to take control of it. And I remember the conversation. I remember when I asked you to get your fasting insulin, and that was not an option at first. And now they do your fasting insulin
every time I get my blood done.
If I could talk to your doctor, I would ask him, maybe you know this, is he now doing that with every one of his patients, checking fasting insulin?
I'll have to ask him when I go in.
Because the movement is real, right? So what I love about your story when it comes to the glucose insulin relationship, your glucose was always good. Your hemoglobin A1C was great. There's no diabetes. But I know that on the backside of things, your insulin levels are elevated, which is called hyperinsulinemia. That's one of the reasons why people are taking blood pressure medication or have elevated blood pressure. That plays a huge role in why people have migraines. So it touches on all these areas, but the doctors are not checking it. And if you don't check for the fasting insulin, then you don't know. And they don't know. They're not checking. And so now when he checks your fasting insulin to see that there's no insulin resistance, I mean, your numbers are like way down, like a pro athlete. There's pro athletes that have a higher fasting insulin than you.
Wow. And trust me, I'm no pro athlete.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like, wow, what a compliment. But if
Yeah.
you hadn't demanded that, like I had one of my clients, she demanded it. She got really upset. I actually have had quite a few of them do this. But this one that I'm thinking about right now, when she got her fasting insulin after demanding it, it was like over 30. Like that's like the charts didn't even go past 22.
Oh,
And I knew she had insulin resistance, but when she finally pushed for that, now her doctor's like, thank you, because I need to start looking at this more.
yes.
Yeah. So there is a movement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got 3 minutes. Anything you want to share? Any questions from those who are checking this out?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking at the see what I'm glad Dan actually caught this, and
Yes.
Cheryl caught it. These are good people. Okay, Linda, you got your Nostradamus hat on.
Uh-oh. Now what? You're scaring me again.
I'm just looking.
Oh.
Let me see, like, because sometimes I'll get text messages when people catch us live. Anything that you want to share before we say goodbye?
Anybody that's on the fence, get off the fence, send the email, spend the money, get a coach. I'm by far saving a lot more money than I'm spending every month. And even if I wasn't, this is the best money I've ever spent because I am worth it. You're worth it. Do it. Send the email in, get a coach, and take your life back.
Nice. All
You're
right.
worth it.
So as we're gonna just play just in case someone has a question. I'm gonna give it 2 more minutes.
Okay.
And I'm just sitting here thinking about, well, I don't want to put anybody under, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, right? Because I know some things. There's some questions I could ask you, but I don't even want to go there.
Oh, yes. My lips are sealed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
know.
know, like I did a live earlier today where I shared about this study.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you had a chance to hear it, but it was,
Yeah, I
it's
did.
pretty good. Oh, you did?
Yeah, I listened after work.
Okay. So in that study, as I was mentioning, people like who are type 2 diabetic, by getting your gut healthier and more diverse, that's going to lower your glucose numbers and your hemoglobin A1C just because you got your gut microbiome, your gut health better.
Mm-hmm.
And most people you talk to, they've never heard that.
No.
And if they had and read it or heard it on the news or something like that, they don't really know how to do it. And for those of us who understand the Diet Free Life methodology, just make sure you keep variety in your life as far as
Mm-hmm.
food. Keep challenging yourself to eat different things in different, seasons,
Yes.
and have fun with food and
Mhm.
just keep eating in the right combinations. That's it.
Yeah. And stay home and cook the majority of the time.
Well, a lot of people, they don't like to cook. I'm hearing that more and more, especially younger people.
Yeah. Well, I went out to lunch today to a restaurant and I made a wonderful fat burning meal.
Nice.
Because I told them I wanted a chicken sandwich, take the bread off, put a side salad, take the fries away, take the croutons off because I'm doing slow carbs and protein. And it's like, okay, that's all you got to do is just know how to order it. And you can do almost anything with anything. I mean, I can go to McDonald's and get a fat burning meal.
You can.
Mhm.
That's right.
I have.
You're a part of that 1 week. Actually, no, the one I remember you participating in is when I had people eat only frozen entrees.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. And remember, you actually lost weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A week of frozen food.
Yep. You created your own Nutrisystem, and you picked all your foods and meals at your local grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I just want to say thank you, Linda, for making time for this.
And thank you, sir, again, for all that you do. We appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And this was a good conversation.
Yes.
So, and thanks everyone who were able to hear it live. And for those who catch the replay, I'm glad you listened in. And, Linda's amazing. She's now moving into her next part of her journey as a coach. where
Mhm.
she's going to be helping other people.
I'm so excited.
So, Linda, don't leave. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody.
Okay.
And then you and I can say goodbye to each other in the green room.
Perfect.
All right, you
Have a
guys,
great
until
night,
the next
everybody.
one. If you have questions, go to dietfreelife.com. Email us if you just got basic questions. We're here to help you. You don't got to pay for, I mean, we're not charging you. We want to just help you. If we can help you and give you some guidance, then that's part of our ministry, if you will. Okay,
Yeah.
so don't hesitate to reach out. We are here to help you be successful and to live your best and the highest quality of life. And food is medicine.
Yes, it is.
Until the next one. Peace out.
Thank you.